We arrived here last year in November, and so it's been just a little bit over half a year, and
Nice.
we feel very good here. And
Yeah,
You like it?
yes,
absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. I've heard amazing things about it. My favorite thing about it was one of my favorite resources. And so I say my favorite thing because I've never been. There's a TED Talk by a guy, I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but it's called Everything We Know About Addiction is Wrong. And he talks about a case study of Portugal and prisons and how they do things differently in terms of helping people reintegrate into society, and how they belonging in society helps people move away from addiction. And I thought it was just a brilliant concept. And I was like, wow, that's neat. It'd be so cool if our world leaders would openly learn from each other. And hopefully they do, about what is working in different countries and solve some problems together. So what's your favorite thing about Portugal so far?
I think as we came here in November, and November is already pretty rainy and muddy in Germany, and we had beautiful sun, and we were able to go surfing. Like, that's a big part for me, that we have here wonderful waves and beaches to go surfing, which we don't really have in Germany. So that was just oh yes, this feels really, really right. And that was one thing that
and the people are just super friendly and chilled and nice.
That's awesome. So those two dynamics, I'm a big fan. It reminds me of what I experienced in Uruguay as well. And a good, most coastal cities bring a certain deal of happiness about them. So not a bad idea to live by the coast. So cool. We're going to be talking about fully engaging in your hero's journey, and one's hero's journey, and living with purpose. Two amazing people who've gone from Germany to Portugal and are very much living a hero's journey. That's a big reason why I'm excited to have you guys on the call. Let's dive in first to some of the resources. If there were resources, 3 resources or books that you'd recommend for other visionaries who are on this journey we call life, what would they be?
Yeah, it's a tough question. But the first thing that came to my mind is actually Qigong. Wherever you want to learn that, in whatever institution or school, but that changed our lives tremendously. And it's that beautiful blend of meditative practice with an embodiment practice. And I think that is so important for whatever you do. There are more top athletes picking up Qigong. There are more CEOs picking up Qigong recently, because they understood that there is something in that. And I mean, in Asia, that is a tradition thousands of years old, and every master and every politician knew about it.
Wow. Yeah, that is big. And how do you spell it? Remind me.
So it would be QI.
QI. Got that wrong already.
Yeah, I mean, there are many spellings out there, because the Chinese would write it in characters. They never spelled it.
That's true. I don't know how they do that, man. That takes talent, a lot of talent in of itself. Okay. So, and yes, I've seen it CHI Gong as well. We'll make sure to if you could do us a favor, if you could link to some type of resource to introduce the layman's about it, that would be a fantastic way to help me take that step of saying, okay, cool, I want to learn about this. And we'll put that on the landing page. What would be resource 2 and 3?
Well, 2, I thought, you already mentioned it. We work with the hero's journey. So that's a powerful concept. And I can recommend all the Joseph Campbell work. It's just amazing. It's deep. It's not easy to read, for sure. But it's fascinating. And I mean, there are other resources about the hero's journey online, or some pretty nice documentaries on YouTube. But the hero's journey is just powerful.
Awesome. You got a third?
Well, third now is, that's a bit nerdy, but I can just say, episode 4, classical 1977 Star Wars. They always because it is the hero's journey in in a beautiful format. You have everything. You have the mentor, you have the lightsaber passed on to you from your father, and wow.
It is a masterpiece. It is so easy to take for granted, right? What's been talked about so much, but why? Why not relive it and reappreciate what was gifted to us? So those are fantastic resources. We're going to be right back. We're going to dive right into Camilla and Sasha's vision, and I'm excited for the show, guys. All right, welcome in to Vision Pros Live with Jackson Callum. I'm your show host. We will be doing interviews for visionary entrepreneurs and guest leaders who are building fantastic visions out there. What's up, and welcome into another episode of Vision Pros Live. I'm your show host, Jackson Callum, founder and CEO of First Class Business. I am so excited to have Camilla and Sasha on board today from the Hero Tribe. We're going to be talking about really probably one of my favorite, least talked about subjects, the hero's journey, the ability to really appreciate this thing we call life. There's so many people that just go right for the destination or lose sight and get focused on that. I've done that many times throughout life, actually, and being able to remind yourself that, okay, today matters. Being able to recognize that, are we on a journey that's leading towards purpose, towards fulfillment? It's excellent to have masterminds and conversations with people like Camilla and Sasha. So we're doing just that. On your visionary journey, especially those who are entrepreneurs, I've got some resources up here that I highly recommend. The first being The Law Spot. The Law Spot is a company run by Melissa Gray. She came on this show. When you're considering who you might work with for different purposes in business, it's important to evaluate your options. I was a pretty unwise steward in my first couple of ventures, and I've found that most ventures they either hire somebody on retainer without doing a lot of research. We didn't have somebody on retainer when we had to face a trademark lawsuit. It cost us $20,000 as a startup. We won, but did we? We lost $20,000 just to protect the name we already had and owned. And coming across Melissa, she was a breath of fresh air. Somebody who has a heart, who has a family, who isn't scared to listen and doesn't act like she knows everything. But at the same time, she has the ability to simplify legal. I've been very impressed with her. It's been fun to work with her, as she is a client of ours as well. I can't speak enough about her as a leader. And I think she knows, and others know. I wouldn't say that if she was struggling with her leadership skills. But it's one of my favorite things about her. She continues to build this brand out. And we got her event coming up in Dallas on April 16th. If you're local and listening in, join us at that event for First Class Networking. Then there's Recovery Unplugged. Recovery Unplugged is not a client of mine. Andrew Sosin came on the show, though, and he threw down some serious value. And I love that he is helping people overcome addictions. And he's got over 400 employees. He's a great leader. He's at a mastermind on Richard Branson's island with Richard Branson and Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad Poor Dad. He's been to, just this last year, he's been to Tony Robbins' event 22 years in a row. And that man, for me, is one of the men leading the pack of how do we help inspire people? How do we motivate people? How do we get people connected? So all of that to me speaks to the type of program you might be anticipating as you go into this. One of the coolest things, one of the best blessings of COVID was the fact that a lot of things had to go online that weren't available online. They used to have 4 or 5 in-person locations. Now they've moved towards an online model that empowers more people globally with the ability to overcome what they struggle most with. Entrepreneurs, I'm looking at you. We have addictive personalities. It can be very important to turn to this type of resource. Or if you know somebody who is really struggling, or they're struggling, they don't realize it, you might call this hotline and find out how what would be some techniques and ideas for helping you help your loved ones overcome the challenges that they face. Now, I'm without my assistant today, so forgive me for not sharing the appropriate screens the right ways. Let's make sure to do this right for my favorite thing to talk about, which is the water project. And why is that? Because I've never had to worry about water. Sasha and Camilla got to see me say, hold on, guys, I'll be right back. And I'm going to get water from my kitchen. We are so blessed to be able to get that from our kitchen fast. There are so many people in the world. There's millions like this child right here. If you're viewing the screen that that doesn't have access to clean drinking water, and they might walk for miles and be missing school. Their parents might have to leave work to go get water to provide the basic necessities for their family. And it's not even necessarily safe water. I know most of you listening are like me and you're kind of scared of your water from your kitchen sink. Imagine going to a water hole, and providing that to your children when you got home. I can't let my heart forget the reality that there are millions who don't have access to it. I also won't be consumed by doubt and fear and darkness. I'd much rather realize that these kids celebrate water like my kids celebrate Christmas Day. And we have the opportunity to give. It can be $1, it can be $500,000 funding many of these projects. And next thing you know, you've made a generational impact on people whose lives will be changed forever by creating their own borehole well or sand dam. And you get to see the outcome of your results because of the way Water Project manages this program. So I just, again, if you're not in a position to give back either, I'm not trying to say, hey, ignore COVID economics and how much it's hurt you. My request is to do what I'm doing. Just share it. Just tell people about it. You never know the ripple effect that will be caused by going about and doing good and sharing opportunities for growth. If you have a cause you'd like to see me talk about, then absolutely submit it to us or just send a comment. Let us know about it. We might promote it on this show. The goal is to help the 8 billion, and we can do that by working together. So without further ado, Camilla and Sasha, I'm going to bring them on stage. We're going to talk all about the Hero Tribe. This is something we can all relate to. We are all literally experts at this process, in my opinion, and some of us live it more fully than others. So thank you both for being here today, talking to us about the Hero Tribe, what you do, sharing your vision. I'm absolutely honored to have you two on the show.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
We're super blessed to be here as well with you.
Awesome. Well, we're going to dive into the first question. Either one of you can take it, of course, and we'll do our best for the audience to keep it clear and brief on each side, but also profound, while maintaining the typical time structure of our show. But I'll let you guys decide who's going to speak and who's not. We'll interrupt each other as professionals do. So what is your vision for those that you serve?
Our vision for those where we have the honor to serve is that that they remember again that they are the hero, the main character of their life, and the power that comes within this realization and remembering as well. Because I think when we are born, there is no question about it. We are the main character of our life. We just kind of ask and take whatever, we want. And then, you go through life and you get conditioned by society, by family, by friends, by, everything. And you start to forget about it because no one is also telling you it. And so that is our vision, that those who are working with us, those who are crossing our path, that, they remember they are the hero of their life. And they take also responsibility and taking this power to create and go after what their soul and their heart is telling them to do, and not what maybe, even with the best family and friends think you should do. So that's our vision for them, that they reach this point. And it's just, as you just mentioned, when you said like the ripple effect of, just telling about it, we really believe that it has such a big ripple effect if you go and you are happy and fulfilled in your life, to everyone who's around you and the whole environment, and serving this world in this way.
Absolutely. For those who don't see the obvious connection between what Camilla just said and what we believe in, that's what Vision Pros Live is all about. It's about the reality that if you're listening in right now, it's because we know you're a visionary. We know that you're designed to create something amazing for your life and a purpose that's great. And the more that we have people positively reinforce that, the more likely people will start to step in and own that reality and have a safe space to do so. I will say there's a segment. There's certainly people in the world who from day one, they face the opposite, right? Where they're told they're not worth anything. The world doesn't revolve around them. They're not in a position to embrace that. And our hope, my hope, I know it's y'all's hope too, is to inspire those individuals to learn to change that mindset, learn to see the value that they are. And so I love what you're doing. For you guys, well, Sasha, let's talk about your side of that. What is your vision? How do you add on top of that? And you get the fun role of color commentating, where we get to like try to make it sound good, and you get to come in.
Yeah, it's usually easier. Right? Well, there's not much that I can add. I just feel like also there is no other position in the hero's journey than being on the 12, well, nowadays it's 12 steps. And I always remind people in our tribe and our academy about this. There is no step number 13 outside of the scope of your beautiful life journey where you are unfolding. The only thing that can happen is that you're stuck. And people manage, unfortunately, to get stuck for decades. Some people manage to get stuck in the status quo all of their lives. And the only thing we need to do is move. Internally or externally, doesn't really matter. And if we, like we already said and established, if we would all do that to a certain degree, I believe that everything would change. The whole planet would change. And many of the things that we manifested collectively comes from people in their encrusted, hurtful self, which is not living their true potential. And so they do things that they normally would never do.
Absolutely. We're gonna move from your visions personally, because I think we're seeing it unfold. Y'all live this hero's journey. You can always direct back to it, but there's an important subject I really want y'all's opinion on, and that is the subject of investing in ourselves, which comes in many forms. Right? We invest in ourselves, everything that we do. Right? If I decide to watch Netflix, I'm investing my time in that. If I decide to hang out with certain people that are off color, I'm investing my time and attention in those individuals that might be deciding to bring me down. My question for you guys as leaders is, why do leaders, people who have a clear vision, they want to be the hero for their vision, why do we sometimes tend to hide from funding our visions, from investing in ourselves and our visions? Why do we do that?
What just comes to my mind on that spot is, I think the whole like funding, investing time, money, energy, there is a lot of scarcity around there, like especially also like, money. They more or less wherever you kind of turn to, it's always like, oh, it's little, and people complaining and they don't have enough. They don't have also enough time and money, energy, everything. And so with a vision, the point is that it's also, you are investing in something into the unknown. You have some ideas, and sometimes it's also difficult to really project yourself into this future self or future life of you, and you just think, okay, this could be the moment where I feel even more free and fulfilled, but I'm not sure about it. And so there comes a lot of scarcity in kind of investing something that has such a high value, and not knowing, will it actually bring me where I want to go? And I think that's where a lot of people hold back. And what we always also, people who do come across the Hero Tribe and considering going on a journey with us, where very often they then refuse because, hey, well, okay, I might be not so happy. Like the whole thing starts then to negotiate with yourself about your status quo and think like, in a way my job sucks, but I do get my bills paid with it. And I do have some hours on the weekend for free time. It's not that bad, but you avoid the emotional pain actually that comes with it.
Nice. So I heard mindset, a scarcity mindset mentioned in there. I heard you talk about the doubt being something that also leads us to the fear of the unknown, right? Of like, I don't know if I can do this. And in addition to that, the comfort zone, right? Of like, well, this is what I do know. This is where I was safe, right? So I can hear a lot of that. Do you want to add any more to this question, Sasha, or do you want to move into how we can inspire visionaries and leaders to fund their vision, to invest in themselves?
Yeah, maybe I take the bridge to how. And one thing that from the work we do, observing so many heroes' journeys, as this universal blueprint of human development, how we also call it. What we can definitely say is we humans are onions. We humans have layers upon layers upon layers.
Cakes have layers, as Donkey would say. Keep going.
Yeah. and there are beautiful layers and there are blocked layers. And very often, especially people who are established in some fields in their life, they sometimes assume that, hey, I'm unblocked. Everything works out. And that is never the case. I don't know. I haven't worked with the Dalai Lama or some high established master on the hero's journeys. I trained with them, but I haven't mentored them. Maybe they have cleared all their onion layers, but normal people, even super successful people, don't. And that's totally fine. So from the hero's journey perspective, how to clear that is inwards. Piercing more layers of the onion in time, because you can't do that all at the same time. Just take time. Extra tip is never forget that everything embodies in your physical self. You can't solve it just emotionally or with your brain. You need to embody it.
I love that. That's I haven't used that word that way before. I'm a big fan of heart and mind. And that to me is defined by that word embody, which again, I know it's bigger than that. What does embody mean to you?
Well, in the end, it just describes the human condition. And this is what we forget. Like you said, mind and body are inseparable. It's the last couple of 100 years and science try to tell us that they are separate fields. And we have beautiful things that science gifted us, but this separation is something that we need to mend. And just everything that we think, everything where we put and fund our energy and our attention to embodies in our physical self. So we can't stop there. We embody constantly. Every millisecond we embody. And when we use that as a resource to our advantage, that every ancient technique uses that. Yoga, Qigong, even meditation, everything is an embodied technique. And we forgot about that in the last 200, 300 years.
Sascha, I love the humility that you exercise as you talk about leadership. And Camilla, the same is true for you. In this case, I'm simply using an example of what I heard. And you talked about the Dalai Lama. What's fun is there was a comment I wanted to make, but I decided not to. And then my prayer bell went off. That little ding that goes off as my reminder to just say a gratitude prayer, even in the middle of whatever I'm doing. Just to take the opportunity to reflect and remember what's there. Some people could call it meditation. That's fine too. It's their synonyms, right? We have imperfect language. Is our heart and our minds, are we embodying our souls, moving towards greater and greater elements of resources that exist, like you said, with inside and then without too, right? There's so much experience that we often overlook. Point being, that guided me back to, got to make the comment. You said you have not had access to the Dalai Lama, and you can't speak for him in terms of the layers of onions. I would add to it that the people out there who think that they need to meet some external person may miss the value of what you were talking about too. It's not one person. Like, it's not like we need the Dalai Lama as our savior in this case. For me, yes, I do have one. But that's not necessarily for everybody, right? That's my own personal belief. When it comes to you, though, you have access to everything you need in order to live and find your best life in your journey. That's my belief. I don't mean to project it on you, but you've got it within and without. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. I think both of us, I can speak for Sascha, that we agree with that everything, all the answers, everything that we need is within us. When it comes to kind of leaders or mentors, Dalai Lama, or whoever it is, what we see there, and also maybe how we see us when we are serving as mentors for people who want to go with us on this hero's journey, is that definitely we are not the wisest people in all fields or wherever, but we are a step ahead and maybe walk that path that they want to go, and it can be so helpful and accelerate your path. But I'm 100% sure as well that
law of abundance, right? To me, that's the law of abundance. You guys are a reflection of that, right? I have what I have, but you've come and you've given me new angles and perspectives that have added to what I've been able to achieve. And, that's at the end of the day for this question, why I bring it up and why it's so important to me is you have what you need to create the next levels for yourself, and investments, funding that comes in many forms. Are you willing to see it? Are you willing to do what it takes to move your hero's journey, your vision to that next level? Are you willing to look at that, or do you shy away from it? Do you decide not to? Only you know the answer to that. Nobody can judge that from the external and say that you did the wrong thing. It's your life. So thanks for exploring that with me, guys. That was a little deeper than I had planned on, and probably a little too deep for myself, including. I was a little bit out of my zone there. But we are going to dive into a little bit of a darker subject, if you will. And that is, what is the worst leadership experience that you've ever had?
And you, just to get clear on that question, you mean like it's something like me being mentored or within the hierarchy of someone?
You get to define how you want to go with it. So it's the worst leadership experience you've ever had or seen. And with the idea, here's what I'll center us on. What experience can you share about that will help other visionaries learn to maybe not follow that same path or get out of a situation they might be stuck in? You're going to be guided to something, and it's going to help somebody.
I have an example from my own life. I've always been an entrepreneur. I always refused to have a decent job, like other people would say. And at a certain point, I had a martial arts school. That was a business that I had for a long time. I'm doing martial arts since I'm a kid. That's one of the main things I did all of my life. And then I had the opportunity to take on more projects, and there were big projects. One was having a new kind of juice production in South America and then delivering it to the US and Europe, and like big projects. And I took on 3 projects at the same time, still having my school as one of these projects. And that turned out to be a total failure. I went into a burnout, and in hindsight, well, first I always told everyone, like, hey, don't take on too many projects. It doesn't work. But nowadays I would say, if you manage that in a good way, it's possible. I mean, there are people who have juggled way more projects than 3. The main thing I would say now is I did it out of scarcity. And that was the big lesson in it. I took on the other projects because they excited me, but also because there was something missing in me. I wanted more than just being the school owner in my hometown. And I wanted more financial resources. And then time scarcity came in. And then financial scarcity came into these projects with it. And it was just a cascade of scarcity that was driving that. Also my decision to jump into the projects. And I think that was the big lesson for me.
Wow. That is a big, awesome lesson. And it's easy to surrender to the scarcity mindset. It's not hard to fall into that trap and to stay there. Camilla, do you have a worst leadership experience ever you wanted to share as well? Or do we want to move on to the best leadership experience?
Well, maybe one combines the other as well in this kind of story. But I worked before going more on the entrepreneurial path, I was in the 5-star hotel industry, and I worked for a very big hotel company with places all over the world. And I was a manager of one outlet of them, and obviously there were other managers above me, and obviously my team beneath me. And they could have kept me there if the managers above me would have taken the time to really see who was working there and having more attention and guiding more the people. What I experienced was that my manager was also try to please his manager, and his focus was on that part, and losing sight on who's actually my team and beneath me, and how can I help them to raise and come up. Again, probably scarcity comes in there as well, because he was looking for his own, career and path. But I think as well, like for him, he would have more success by really looking out for his team and helping them to become a great leader and beyond. And I think there goes as well the best leadership experience is where you're working with someone who is putting actually their team and the people who are working with them kind of first, and is let go of this kind of competition, but rather seeing how we can all strive and be more successful together if we lift the other person up. And I think it can always happen that someone works in a way beneath you in the hierarchy, but actually has in a lot of skills that are greater than yourself. And that's what I try to always remember for myself as well, when we have in our Hero Tribe people that we're working with, like that I see what their skills are, and that I try to lift them, and that it's okay for me if one day, whatever, maybe they leave the Hero Tribe because they're going to do their own projects, but that's how we serve the world. So
wow, that is phenomenal. You taught me something phenomenal. I just grabbed a little vision out of that of, oh my goodness, this is an incredibly important assessment to give entrepreneurs to help them open their eyes. It would be so powerful there's ways to manipulate on this too that are not fair, and there's ways that are valuable for the growth of a business. But I was imagining myself in a conference asking entrepreneurs to stand up who've been at it for 10 years or 5 years, whatever, and then asking them the question, okay, who has more than 10, let's get the people who have more than 10 employees in their team. And then say, okay, your employees, the 3 that were closest to you, do you know their birthdays? What's their birthdays? Do you know their anniversaries? How many kids does so-and-so have? What are their names? Right. That could go really far, really fast towards manipulation and coercion of something that's maybe not as what's your favorite color? Like, come on. Maybe favorite color is not the most important, but you hit on it. You talked about what they're good at. Right. I would add to it, what's their favorite thing to do at work? Mm-hmm. I bet most entrepreneurs would fail to answer that question correctly. I bet they'd point to what that person's great at and completely overlook what that person wants to be doing in the company. And you're right. We don't take enough time to dive in and understand, why do people work with us? What do they want to accomplish? What do they want to learn? How do they want to grow? And if we did, and I've seen the benefits of companies who do dive into that, what they're able to accomplish. Camilla, that's absolutely brilliant. For it. Moving towards best leadership experience, I think you just accomplished one of the best leadership experience I've seen on this show. So what is the best leadership experience you've ever had, though? I won't put a rooftop on you. I have a feeling there's more.
Well, I can just jump in what comes to my mind, where I enjoy leadership the most, like conducting it, being in the position of the leader or receiving it, is actually in martial arts. Because a good martial arts teacher for me, I always try to do that, is in the brunt of the action, right in it. I never liked when my master or I taught my students in that way, that you sit in the corner of the room and you say, yeah, 100 push-ups more. No, I'm going to do the 100 push-ups with them. And if I fail and just do 90, who cares? Maybe my best student can do the 100. Or I always like to do very hard, like combat exercises where you fight against 4 people. And it's the aim of the exercise is you can't win it. That's a typical strategy in martial arts. Go into exercise that you can't win. And of course, I go first. I need to do that as the martial arts teacher. And that is first most enjoyable for me as the leader, actually.
Yes.
And also, I love when my masters did that and not stood in the corner and screamed at us.
You survived the negative experience. I did not. I was a yellow belt. I made it to yellow belt.
Way.
And the 1 red stripe, right? And that's exactly why I stopped. So here I was in my martial arts class. I was in kindergarten. One, I already knew how to fight, but they weren't teaching very many disciplines. And there was this black belt in my grade. Like, he was already a black belt at that young, and he would pick on people. And I beat the crap out of him several times for picking on people. So don't get me wrong. That's not the best lesson on this, but here's the point. I'm going to that martial arts class now, and I jump over this wooden sword, and they say, go see sensei to get your next stripe, right? And so I go see the sensei, and here's what I saw. I saw a non-Asian sitting at a desk using whiteout. And I thought, ninjas don't use whiteout. Like, what is this? This isn't really, like, he's not really engaged. And he was very overweight. Again, not necessarily a problem. Maybe he's going for the sumo thing, but there was no essence of the culture of, like, what, the pure Jichong, the Qigong, the Qigong, I think you called it. The martial arts aspects, the principles of the East that I've come to learn about more. It was just a babysitting process, of being there and, like, saving mom time, and yes, be nice and use these values to the best of your ability. But it wasn't what you just described, a leadership opportunity where you're, like, seeing that person lead by example. Yeah, that would have been fun. That would have been cool.
I think it has to be. Otherwise, it's like you say, there are these McDojos, how they are called, where it's just a money-making machine. And it's just a bit of Asian, I don't know, icing on the cake. But you want the real thing.
Any ninjas out there, you're welcome to use whiteout, or you're welcome to roast me in the comments, by the way. But it did destroy my little kindergarten appreciation for martial arts for a little while. What powerful lesson. Now, if this was y'all's last chance to share a lesson in your life, what powerful lesson can other visionaries learn from your experience?
I have to think with this question about, this one, in a way, if you're a visionary, to really not to give up and not to give in, and to keep this vision of yours with as many tools that you have alive, because it is so easy to kind of give in with things that happen in life that kind of more draw you down and take you down, and to doubt yourself about the vision that you have. And there are wonderful tools out there, like a simple thing like a vision board that reminds you every day that why or what you want to do and where you want to go, and that really keeps you going on this path. I think that's one thing that really helped me when I started, I'd say with my really hero's journey and being aware of it, that I use these tools to get me going, because there were really hard times, especially also if you have a vision that requires you to make a lot of changes, because that is going to be a test, and being in the extraordinary world and facing the dragon or the demon within you. so yeah, that's my part. And I want to add another one is to take the time to look inside. And Sasha talked about the onion, and really for bringing your vision into life, for being your heroic identity who can hold the space for it as well, to work on yourself and to look at the dark side that every one of us has, and not to fight them, but to embrace them and to reunite these parts of you, because it is all you and it all belongs to you. And to bring your vision into life, you need to reunite it and embrace it. And I think that's the way to a fulfilled and successful life. And looking back one day when the time comes to say goodbye to the physical body, to feel happy and satisfied of what you accomplished and what you did.
Awesome. Sasha, what's your powerful lesson?
I would, I would go one step deeper maybe, and also remind us that I had to learn that very often in my life, that the vision that we hold is extremely important, but most of the time, I think it is not what we really, really deep inside want and need. If it's an external thing, if you want to create a beautiful company, if you want to, I don't know, set up a new social media platform or whatever, and you should all strive for that and do it, but that's usually not the end goal your soul is really striving for. But the only way how you find out what is the next layer of the onion is by doing it, by pursuing the vision. And that's maybe the mistake that we often do, is either we cling to that vision and we hold it, and we are super disappointed when we are there and we made it, and we feel then empty again, because that's how it's supposed to be. This emptiness brings us to the next hero's journey, the next stage. Or we are so discouraged by all of that that we don't even start. And the only way is to pierce through all these projects and visions. And I believe you come closer and closer to what you really want. And maybe in the end, you will find out, I'm just happy with sitting here and looking at the ducks.
That is awesome. That was an epic ending too. I hope that someday we turn that in one of those motivational videos on YouTube that goes super viral, where it's just like it ends with, and it's really all about looking at like, that was so perfect. That was so cool. Guys, one of the fun things about my role in these interviews is that I also get to build on what was just said, right? And the real brilliance is the people who set the foundation. And recognizing the holistic nature of math. If I have 3 mathematicians that all have 5 minutes to work through a formula, right, the same formula, and build upon it, it doesn't mean one person's 5 minutes is any less important or valuable than the other person's, right? It is, if you're constructing with the idea to continue to build upon, then that everybody has contributed something super holistic. So Camilla, well said on taking the time to look inside, not fighting yourself, but embracing and reuniting what's there. Beautifully said. I really like this addition too, of Sasha's, that the vision, and it reminds me of something that I have been refining within myself in the last year. So the vision that we hold is extremely important, but it's not what we deeply want and need. The only way you find your purpose is through that vision, though. Paraphrasing a bit here. I got really, my ego got the best of me. And I used to say, Stephen Covey's quote, begin with the end in mind, is cool, but, and I would use that negative, like I say, begin with the vision in mind, because I can see the trees on that horizon over there. And then when I get there, I'll be able to get to the next vision, and I have a new vision. And as I started to meditate on that over the last couple of months, I realized nope, I do what I do because I know the end in mind. And I started to shift my wording to the reflection that you've so eloquently put out there, Sasha, of remembering that, no, I very much know my destination and my purpose and what and who I am. And I can begin with both in mind, right? That's the beauty of math and knowing how to add to in life rather than subtract from. So thank you both for incredibly powerful lessons. We'll take some time to talk about the Hero Tribe. And, all of this whole conversation has really been about fully engaging in the hero's journey and, digging inward and finding deeper elements of our souls and what we've learned. And the byproduct of that to me is living your purpose. But I'd love for you guys to take more time. Tell us about the Hero Tribe. Tell us about this topic, whatever you'd like. The last 5 minutes, really 4 minutes are yours.
Yeah, the Hero Tribe for us is this. It's actually what we always wanted to have. It's not something that we created on a board and planned for many years. It is we wanted to live our hero's journey, and pretty quickly when you dive into that, you find limitations. Limitations come in the surrounding very often that you have, maybe the job that you're stuck in, the people that surround you and maybe not support your unfolding in a way that you wish to experience. And then for us, the logical thing was, okay, let's create a tribe that is empowering and where everyone is put on the position of being the hero. And we are a band of heroes supporting each other, a fellowship. And that's kind of the foundation of the tribe. And it branched out into many, many things. We started with this Spirit of the Hero camps, where you can go into a week or 12 days in Italy with us into fully being in your heroic self, through embodiment training, through going through the process of the 12 steps of the hero's journey. And then we found out, like, okay, people want more. They don't want just to do that once a year with us in Italy or France or Poland or wherever we have done the camps, but they want that on a constant basis. So that also brought us online, and we have what we call the Hero Tribe Academy, where you can do that constantly. You can join masterclasses with us. You have this super empowering tribe of people around you. You go through this process of shedding the layers of the onion and going deeper and deeper. And that is very profound. And also, yeah, like Camilla already mentioned before, sometimes people also shy away from it because that's the refusal of the call mentioned in the hero's journey. And that's totally fine. We will then just chase them and see that we get them back into on the path.
Cool.
And what I'd love to add is like maybe also like why we call ours like the Hero Tribe. It has these two components of the hero. We want them to realize they are the main character of the world of their life, and the hero. But there's also the part of tribe, because like just being kind of on an ego trip is not what we mean with being a hero. No, the tribe is super important. And that's where what happened and what developed with the Hero Tribe over the last years as well, that it also became a community where people really support each other and hold each other up in moments where they're down, and celebrate each other when you have some wins. Because I think that's also missing in this society, that someone tells you something that you accomplished, and sometimes, people start again with being, I don't know, jealous or competition or wherever. But no, just celebrate it. If someone's, I don't know, was successful, again, like a child, the child, I don't know, walked his first step, and everyone was like cheering the parents. And we can still do that when we are adults. So we love this playful part as well. Like you see us sometimes in some, I don't know, costumes. If you come to a camp, you work with us, you don't have to wear a costume, but you're very welcome to do it if it makes you happy and if you have fun with it.
That's awesome. I love y'all's branding. My goodness, there's so much intentfulness, right? Intentionality is probably the better word for what y'all have built. The way you are able to help people feel emotionally what you've dedicated your lives to, it's inspiring. And it's a to me it's the greatest expression of an artistic expression of what's going on within. How much this means to you, and I know how much money, I know how much sacrifice and investment goes into creating something of that magnitude. So I opted in. I'm very excited to explore how our paths continue to cross as life unfolds. And I just want to thank you guys for leading the way you're leading, the language, right? Skills that you've put into learning German and English to be able to communicate with multiple people throughout the world, the dedication you've put into communication skills as well, in addition to language skills. What an awesome show experience. So in the show notes, visionaries who are listening in, there's going to be action steps down below this episode. And we'll try to put on there the best action steps, the clearest action steps to take if you want to continue your journey with Camilla and Sasha. And then there's also a button at the top. That's my biased preference. And it says, be our guest. We'd love to see you apply and share your journey with us. You may have a brand that is as complete as Camilla and Sasha's and the Elon Musks and the Bill Gates of the world. You may also have no brand, but you have a heart and a vision of what you want to do to serve others. We want to hear that. We want to hear about it. We want to know what you're up to. And if you have a comment for us, a question, don't hesitate to drop those in social media as well. And we'll make sure that we at least get Camilla and Sasha's attention. And as they brilliantly said on their contact us page, send them a telepathic message as well. Let them know you want to work with them. I like so much about what I saw today, guys. Y'all have anything you want to add before we go? I know I'm about to go over our time.
Well, I just want to add thank you so much as well for having us here, and also for doing what you are providing here and sharing the word with all the wonderful, beautiful projects that are up here in this world, and that try to, like all the people who try to make the world a better place and inspire others. And so, yeah, thank you so much for having this conversation. I think we had a lot of fun.
That was awesome. Well. Thank you, Jason.
Yes.
It was fun. Absolutely. It's my honor. Vision Pros, everybody have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you on the next episode. Take care, everybody. Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have